Commander Jack Lucky O'Malley stared at the floating holographic form in front of him and wondered, not for the first time, if the entire Galactic Council was composed of beings who had evolved from various species of bureaucratic pond scum. The form, which had started as a simple application for Earth's membership in the Galactic Federation, had somehow spawned 16 subforms, 12 appendices, and what appeared to be a quiz about proper tentacle etiquette. Question 47B appears to be incomplete, chirped the Council's administrative assistant, a crystalline being named Glitter who seemed to take perverse joy in finding new forms for O'Malley to fill out. You haven't specified your species' preferred method of waste recycling during faster-than-light travel. That's because we don't have faster-than-light travel yet, O'Malley replied, trying to keep his voice level. That's why we're applying to join the Federation. To get access to faster-than-light travel, among other things. Glitter's crystalline surface rippled in what O'Malley had learned was their equivalent of a frown. But how can you apply for faster-than-light certification without having faster-than-light waste recycling protocols? How can we have waste recycling protocols for a technology we don't have yet? O'Malley countered, feeling a headache building behind his eyes. By filling out Form 47B, of course, Glitter responded, their surface now showing patterns that suggested they were questioning O'Malley's basic intelligence. O'Malley took a deep breath and reminded himself that punching a crystalline being would probably hurt him more than them. Look, can I just speak to the Council directly? This is getting us nowhere. Oh no, Glitter's crystal facets sparkled with alarm. You can't speak to the Council without filling out Form 93X, request for direct Council communication regarding form completion difficulties. Fine, O'Malley said, reaching for his tablet. Where's Form 93X? Oh, you can't access that without first completing Form 47B. O'Malley was saved from his impending crystal-related meltdown by the arrival of Council member Vortek, a tall, elegant being who appeared to be made entirely of shifting smoke and disapproval. The smoke today was tinged with what O'Malley had come to recognize as bureaucratic purple. Commander O'Malley, Vortek said, their voice resonating like wind through an especially pretentious cave. The Council has reviewed your species' preliminary application, and we have concerns. About the waste recycling protocols? O'Malley asked wearily. About everything, Vortek replied, their smoke form swirling with what might have been disdain or indigestion. Your species is, how shall we put this delicately, primitive? O'Malley felt his headache intensify. We've mastered nuclear fusion, created quantum computers, and successfully grown meat in laboratories that tastes better than the real thing. How is that primitive? You still use internal combustion engines, Vortek said, as if describing a particularly disgusting disease. Well, yes, alongside our electric and hydrogen vehicles, and you maintain functional steam engines. For historical preservation and educational purposes, yes, and your civilization still knows how to create fire by rubbing sticks together. I mean, we teach it in survival training, but precisely, Vortek's smoke form expanded dramatically. Your species refuses to abandon obsolete technology. It's unprecedented, it's dangerous, it's messy. The last word was delivered with such horror that O'Malley had to fight back a laugh. So let me get this straight, you're concerned about letting us join the Federation because we know how to do too many things. The Council has decided, Vortek announced, ignoring O'Malley's question with practiced ease, that we need to investigate this matter further. We're assigning 2 observers to study your species' technological development. Their reports will determine whether Earth will be allowed to join the Federation. O'Malley brightened. Finally, a chance to show what humanity could really do. When do we start? As soon as you complete Form 47B, Glitter chimed in helpfully. O'Malley's head hit his desk with a thud that echoed through the Council chamber. From somewhere above him, he heard Vortek's smoky voice. Please file Form 62C. Notification of intentional contact between cranial matter and Council property. It was going to be a long day. The observers arrived the next day, and O'Malley found himself wondering if the Council had deliberately chosen them to form some kind of cosmic comedy duo. Nix 427 was a towering mechanical construct who spoke in precise measured tones, and seemed to catalog every minute detail of their surroundings. Their chrome surface was polished to such a high sheen that O'Malley could see his own exasperated expression reflected in it, multiplied across countless geometric facets. In contrast, Palm was a small fuzzy creature, who looked like someone had successfully crossbred a tribble with a sugar rush. They bounced constantly on what might have been feet, and their enthusiasm seemed to exist in inverse proportion to their attention span. "Greetings, representative of Terra," Nix 427 intoned. "We have been assigned to conduct a thorough analysis of your species' technological development patterns. Please prepare to answer approximately 47,323 questions." "Ooh, what's that?" Palm interrupted, zipping past them to press their face against a window overlooking the Earth Embassy's parking lot. "That appears to be a collection of human transportation devices," Nix 427 answered. "According to my database, I can identify electric vehicles, hydrogen fuel cells, and, is that a bicycle?" "It's mine," O'Malley admitted. "Good exercise, zero emissions, and it never hurts to have a backup." Nix 427 servo's word in what sounded suspiciously like disapproval. "You maintain physical transportation devices requiring manual propulsion alongside quantum-age vehicles, and I can fix all of them," O'Malley said proudly. "Well, except the electric car. That thing's got more software than a space shuttle," Palm suddenly shouted, causing both O'Malley and Nix 427 to jump. "That human is making hot bean water with a fire-powered heating device. That's just a gas stove in the embassy cafeteria," O'Malley explained. "But you have molecular reconstructors capable of producing sustenance," Nix 427 observed. "Why would you continue to use combustion-based cooking methods? Because sometimes you want food that tastes like it was made with love instead of algorithms," O'Malley replied. "Besides, what happens if the power goes out?" "Power out?" Nix 427 seemed to struggle with the concept. "But surely your civilization has progressed beyond such primitive infrastructure failures. We've progressed to the point where we can handle them when they happen," O'Malley corrected. "That's not the same thing as pretending they never will." "Emergency," Palm suddenly screamed, bouncing frantically. "The human in the food preparation area is now utilizing acoustic wave manipulation to heat nutrition pods. That's a microwave oven." O'Malley sighed. "And those are leftover burritos from yesterday." "You maintain multiple methods of applying thermal energy to organic matter for consumption." Nix 427's tone suggested they were documenting evidence for some sort of technological intervention. "We maintain multiple methods of doing pretty much everything," O'Malley explained. "It's called redundancy, or as we like to call it, having a backup for your backup." "But why?" Nix 427 pressed. "Surely once a superior technology is developed, the inferior versions should be discarded." "Superior is subjective," O'Malley said. "Sometimes the old ways work better, sometimes they're more reliable, and sometimes—" He was interrupted by a sudden power fluctuation that plunged the embassy into darkness. Nix 427 froze, their system switching to emergency power, while Palm let out a squeak and attached themselves to the ceiling. O'Malley calmly reached into his desk drawer and pulled out an emergency light stick. With a quick snap, the chemical reaction inside produced a steady green glow. "Sometimes," he continued, "the old ways are exactly what you need." "Fascinating," Nix 427 murmured, their sensors focused on the light stick. "You deliberately maintain chemical illumination technology despite having achieved mastery of electrical lighting." "Course we do," O'Malley grinned, fishing a pack of matches out of the same drawer. "Want to see what else we kept?" From somewhere above them Palm's voice drifted down. "The human is preparing to create fire. This is unprecedented. This is amazing. This is there any more of that bean water?" The next phase of the observation involved reviewing humanity's historical records, which proved to be an experience that tested both O'Malley's patience and his ability to keep a straight face. "But these are all the same species," Nix 427 exclaimed, their chassis vibrating with what might have been confusion as they reviewed footage spanning from the Industrial Revolution to the present day. "You mean to tell me that humans went from steam-powered locomotives to magnetic levitation trains without any evolutionary modifications?" "We evolved plenty," O'Malley corrected, sipping his carefully preserved cup of emergency coffee. "We just did it up here." He tapped his temple. "Trains." Palm bounced excitedly through the holographic display, disrupting several centuries of transportation history. "Big moving metal things. But why do some still use explosions to move?" "Diesel engines aren't exactly explosions," O'Malley started to explain, then reconsidered. "Well, technically they are, but they're controlled explosions. Your species deliberately controls explosions for transportation purposes. Nix 427's tone suggested they were adding another concerning note to their report. Among other things, O'Malley said, "You should see what we do for fun on the 4th of July. Please do not show them the fireworks documentation," came Vortex's smoky voice from the doorway. The council member had taken to appearing unexpectedly during the observation sessions, presumably hoping to catch humans doing something primitively incriminating. "Are you still using these controlled explosions?" Nix 427 asked, their sensors zooming in on various pieces of machinery. "Sure," O'Malley replied, "especially in rural areas where the infrastructure for newer tech isn't cost-effective. Plus there's something satisfying about working on an engine you can actually see the parts of, instead of just running diagnostics on a computer. You maintain the knowledge to repair obsolete technology." Vortex smoke turned a concerned shade of mauve. "Voluntarily. We maintain the knowledge to repair everything we've ever built," O'Malley said proudly. "Well, except printers. Nobody understands printers." "Look," Palm interrupted, having discovered a new historical section. "They used to send information through cables under the ocean." "We still do," O'Malley pointed out. "The internet runs on submarine cables, but you have quantum entanglement communication capabilities." Nix 427 protested. "For some things, sure, but you don't use a quantum computer to send cat videos. You transmit feline documentation." Vortex smoke form swirled with confusion. "That's not important right now," O'Malley said quickly. "The point is, we keep the old systems running alongside the new ones. Everything has its use. Even this." Palm had somehow discovered an old Nokia phone in a display case. "It appears to be some kind of primitive impact weapon." "That's a mobile phone," O'Malley explained. "And yes, they were pretty much indestructible. We still keep some around for emergencies. Battery lasts for weeks, and you can play Snake on it." "Snake?" Vortex smoke form rippled with alarm. "You trapped reptilian life forms in your communication devices." "It's a game," O'Malley sighed. "Look, the point is, we believe in keeping our options open. New technology doesn't automatically make old technology useless. But how do you prevent technological regression?" Nix 427 asked. "Surely maintaining knowledge of primitive systems creates a risk of cultural reversion." O'Malley laughed. "That's like saying knowing how to start a fire means you'll forget how to use a stove. Knowledge doesn't work that way." If anything, he was interrupted by a familiar crystalline chime. "Pardon the interruption," Glitter announced, "but there appears to be an issue with the Council's quantum network. All advanced communication systems are temporarily offline." "How long until they're restored?" Vortex demanded, their smoke turning an anxious shade of puce. "Engineering estimates between 4 and 6 hours," Glitter replied. "They need to realign the quantum matrices. But the trade negotiations with the Centaurian delegation are scheduled to begin in 1 hour. Vortex form was now practically strobing with distress. "Hey," O'Malley said, reaching into his desk drawer again. "Anyone want to learn how to use a fax machine?" Palm bounced with excitement. "Is it powered by explosions?" "No," O'Malley grinned. "But just wait until you hear what dial-up modems sound like." The crisis point came during what was supposed to be a routine demonstration of humanity's technological adaptability. In retrospect, O'Malley realized he probably shouldn't have let Palm press all the buttons. "And this concludes our tour of the Technology Museum," he announced, watching as Nix 427 documented every exhibit with increasing agitation. The mechanical observer had started the tour standing perfectly straight. They were now listing slightly to one side, as if the weight of all this preserved primitive technology was physically affecting their balance. "Button," Palm shouted for approximately the 700th time that day, bouncing toward a promising-looking control panel. "No, wait," O'Malley started, but it was too late. The museum's lights flickered and died. Then the backup lights flickered and died. Then in what O'Malley had to admit was a particularly impressive cascade failure, every power system in the building shut down simultaneously. "Fascinating," Nix 427 observed in the darkness. "Your species appears to have speedrun technological regression in under 5 seconds. "Not exactly," O'Malley said, already reaching for his emergency light stick. "This is why we have protocols. Protocols for returning to a primitive state. Vortex's voice drifted through the darkness, their smoky form barely visible and tinged with what might have been triumph. The Council will be very interested to hear about this. Protocols for handling emergencies, O'Malley corrected, snapping the light stick to life. Palm, could you please stop trying to eat the button? But it looked tasty, came the muffled reply. In the green chemical glow, O'Malley could see museum staff efficiently deploying emergency lighting throughout the building. In the main hall, someone had already started up the museum's pride and joy, a fully functional steam engine that now provided power to essential systems. You're powering your emergency systems with steam technology. Nix 427's voice had risen several octaves. This is unprecedented. This is irregular. This is working perfectly. O'Malley finished. Which is more than I can say for your quantum systems right now. Our systems are merely experiencing a temporary quantum uncertainty state, Vortex said defensively, their smoke form pulling itself into what might have been an affronted posture. All the lights are gone, Palm announced helpfully, still somehow managing to bounce off surfaces they couldn't possibly see in the dark. Not all of them, O'Malley said, gesturing to where museum staff were efficiently setting up kerosene lamps. We've got chemical lighting, steam power for the basics, and there we go. A familiar whirring sound filled the air as several ancient-looking computers hummed to life, their monitors casting a warm glow across the main hall. Are those vacuum tube computing devices? Nix 427 asked, their voice filled with something between horror and fascination. Built in the 1960s, O'Malley confirmed proudly, completely immune to electromagnetic pulses, solar flares, and quantum uncertainty states. They'll run as long as we can provide power, which, he gestured to the steam engine, we can do indefinitely. But why maintain such obsolete systems? Vortex demanded, their smoke now swirling with visible agitation. Surely your quantum computers are currently about as useful as a chocolate teapot, O'Malley interrupted. Sometimes the old ways are the best ways, or at least the most reliable ways. I fail to see how this demonstrates your species' advancement, Vortex said. If anything, it proves our concerns about your primitive tendencies. Oh really? O'Malley raised an eyebrow. And how are the Council's quantum systems doing? Still experiencing that temporary uncertainty state. Before Vortex could respond, Glitter's crystalline form appeared in the doorway, their surface patterns showing clear distress. Council member Vortex, the quantum network is still down and now we're receiving reports of similar failures across multiple sectors. How widespread? Vortex demanded, their smoke turning an alarming shade of chartreuse. System-wide, Glitter reported. All quantum-based technology in the sector is experiencing cascading uncertainty. Pretty lights, Palm exclaimed, having discovered the joy of vacuum tube displays. Don't suppose any of you maintained your backup systems? O'Malley asked innocently, trying not to look too smug as he powered up a distinctly 20th-century-looking radio set. The silence that followed was broken only by the steady chuff of the steam engine and Palm's delighted squeals as they discovered that the old computers could play something called Pong. As the quantum crisis deepened, O'Malley found himself in the surreal position of teaching a group of advanced alien civilizations how to use what they considered antique technology. The fact that he was doing this by candlelight while Palm continued to dominate at Pong somehow made it even more bizarre. So the information is transmitted through modulated radio waves? Nix 427 asked, their sensors focused intently on the ham radio set O'Malley was operating. And this requires no quantum entanglement at all? Nope, O'Malley said, adjusting the frequency. Just good old-fashioned electromagnetic radiation. Been working since the 1900s. Primitive but functional, Nix 427 admitted, making notes in what appeared to be a paper notebook they had borrowed from the museum gift shop. Their internal data storage was, like everything else quantum-based, completely useless. You keep using that word primitive, O'Malley said, finally finding the frequency he wanted. I don't think it means what you think it means. Reference, Palm shouted from across the room. Human cultural transmission through repeated dialogue patterns. Also, I beat the computer again. That's impossible, Vortex protested. Their smoke form now a peculiar shade of seasick green. The computing device must be malfunctioning. Nah, Palm's just really good at Pong, O'Malley said, which is impressive considering they don't have hands. Now about this radio. He keyed the microphone. This is Earth Embassy, calling Galactic Council emergency frequency. Anyone copying? Over. The response was immediate and multilingual as various species discovered that yes, radio waves still work just fine when quantum communications were down. But this is so inefficient, Vortek complained, watching as O'Malley coordinated between different sectors using technology that predated human spaceflight. Inefficient doesn't mean ineffective, O'Malley pointed out. Sometimes the long way around is the only way through. I believe I understand now, Nix 427 said suddenly, their voice carrying the tone of someone having an epiphany. Your species doesn't maintain old technology out of inability to advance. You maintain it because you understand that advancement doesn't necessarily equal improvement in all situations. Got it in one, O'Malley grinned. We learned a long time ago that new problems don't always need new solutions. Sometimes the old solutions work just fine. But surely this creates cognitive dissonance, Vortek protested. How can you simultaneously embrace advancement while clinging to obsolete methods? Because we don't see them as obsolete, O'Malley explained, coordinating another emergency response team over the radio. We see them as tools, different tools for different jobs. Would you try to drive a nail with a quantum spanner? Of course not, Nix 427 replied. That would be oh my. Exactly, O'Malley said. Just because something's old doesn't mean it's not useful, and just because something's new doesn't mean it's better for every situation. Look, Palm interrupted, bouncing over with what appeared to be an abacus. I calculated the probable duration of the quantum uncertainty event using sliding mathematical representational units. That's actually correct, Nix 427 said, checking the calculations with obvious surprise. How did you? Humans taught me, Palm beamed. They said sometimes you need to see the numbers moving to understand them. Also, this is much more fun than quantum computing. It makes clicking sounds. But this goes against everything we believed about technological progress, Vortek said, their smoke now swirling in confused patterns. We always assumed that maintaining knowledge of previous technological stages would prevent advancement to higher ones. That's because you see it as a straight line, O'Malley said, drawing in the dust that had settled on a nearby display case. Up and up and up, each step replacing the last. But that's not how humans think about it. How do you think about it? Nix 427 asked, leaning forward with genuine curiosity. We think about it like this, O'Malley said, drawing a series of interconnected circles. Everything connects, everything has its use, and everything we learn becomes part of what we know, not something we have to forget to move forward. Like how I'm using primitive impact-based kinetic logic to defeat electronic entertainment systems, Pong called out, having returned to their Pong championship. Exactly like that, O'Malley laughed. Although I'm pretty sure that's not how Pong works. The room fell silent except for the steady rhythm of the steam engine and the quiet clicks of Palm's abacus. Finally, Nix 427 spoke. I believe they said carefully that we may have been measuring advancement by the wrong metrics entirely. The Galactic Council chamber looked different by candlelight, O'Malley decided. The normally imposing architecture seemed almost cozy, with shadows dancing across the high ceiling and the soft glow of various primitive lighting solutions creating an atmosphere that felt more like a casual gathering than a formal hearing. Of course, the fact that half the council members were attending via radio probably helped with that. Let me be sure I understand this correctly. The council president's voice crackled through the speaker system that O'Malley and his team had cobbled together from spare parts and museum pieces. You propose that we should admit humanity to the Federation not despite their maintenance of previous technological stages but because of it. Affirmative, Nix 427 replied, their chassis now properly aligned after they'd finally relaxed about the whole situation. Their approach to technological development is unique among all studied species. They don't simply preserve their history, they maintain functional knowledge of every stage of their development. They can make light with chemicals, Palm added helpfully, having finally been convinced to stop playing Pong long enough to attend the hearing. And they use controlled explosions for entertainment. Perhaps we should focus on their more practical applications, Vortex suggested quickly, their smoke form now a thoughtful shade of blue. like their ability to maintain multiple redundant systems across different technological levels, which is exactly why they should be admitted. Nix 427 continued. Our current situation demonstrates the flaw in our assumption that newer technology is automatically superior. While our quantum systems remain in their uncertainty state, human technology has kept vital communications and services running across multiple sectors. Using methods that predate their discovery of nuclear physics, Vortek added, and O'Malley was pretty sure he detected a note of admiration in the smoky being's voice. They have mastered something we never considered important, Nix 427 said. The ability to maintain technological continuity across their entire development timeline. Also, they have games that don't need quantum computers. Palm bounced excitedly. I am now the regional champion of something called Snake. Yes, thank you, Observer Palm. The council president's voice crackled. Commander O'Malley, do you have anything to add to these observations? O'Malley stood up, holding his emergency light stick like a torch. Just this, every species has predators, things they need to watch out for. We learned early on that one of humanity's biggest predators was our own overconfidence. Every time we thought we'd achieved the ultimate technology, something came along to prove us wrong. So we learned to hedge our bets, keep our options open, maintain our knowledge. He gestured to the radio equipment that was keeping the council in session. You all advanced straight up, always reaching for the next level. We advanced out, keeping everything we learned along the way. You see old technology as something to be replaced. We see it as something to be treasured, maintained, and yes, sometimes used when it's the right tool for the job. And you believe this makes you worthy of joining the Federation? The President asked. I believe it makes us useful to the Federation, O'Malley corrected. Look around. Right now, the most advanced civilization in known space is running on technology that humans invented before we went to our own moon. And we're not just keeping it running, we're teaching others how to use it, how to maintain it, how to understand it. He has a point, Vortek admitted, their smoke now showing patterns that O'Malley recognized as deep thought. Perhaps we have something to learn from this approach. Humans are teaching me about mechanical chronological measurement, Palm announced, proudly holding up a wind-up watch. It uses gears, like a tiny machine universe, I believe, the council president said, their voice carrying even through the static of the radio, that we have heard enough. Commander O'Malley, on behalf of the Galactic Council, I am pleased to inform you that Earth's application for Federation membership has been approved. Thank you, Madam President, O'Malley said, trying to maintain his diplomatic composure. We look forward to sharing our knowledge with the Federation, including the controlled explosions. Palm asked hopefully. Maybe we'll save the fireworks for special occasions. O'Malley grinned. Now who wants to learn how to use a mechanical typewriter? Trust me, the sound alone is worth it. As the various council members gathered around, eager to learn about yet another piece of primitive technology that still worked perfectly well without quantum uncertainty, O'Malley couldn't help but smile. Humanity had finally found its place in the galaxy, not by abandoning its past, but by bringing it along for the ride. And somewhere in the distance, a steam engine continued its steady rhythm, counting out humanity's next steps among the stars.